This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Sacramento today, and we are joined by Alice Perez. She is the CEO of the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations. I know you just had your 36th annual convention. Before we talk about the convention, give us kind of a thumbnail about your chamber.
So we are the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce.
Chambers. Thank you for pluralizing.
Yes, Chambers of Commerce. And we represent around 700,000 businesses across the state of California. And our members are actually chambers of commerce and business associations that serve Hispanic businesses throughout the state. And then we also have corporations that are members of our organization as well.
So it's not a chamber of commerce in the sense that a small business locally would join. Like you suggested, there will be a regional chamber that will become an affiliate of your chamber or larger corporations, as you suggested. So tell us a bit about your convention before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what you're doing.
So the convention was 2.5 days, and basically day one always starts with Latina Day. Latinas are the fastest growing, business.
I wish I was there.
So we have a full day of Latinas. We had several workshops, Latinas in technology, energy, et cetera. In addition to that, we had a focus on B2B. We had matchmaking occurring where our focus on matchmaking is not so much about matching businesses with corporations. It's about matching them with the primes that do business with corporations. So it's a little bit unique and different than that.
But I want to get a sense, to the extent you can say, are there certain industries which are more represented amongst your chambers of commerce, which are your members?
I would say it really depends geographically where you are within the state of California, because obviously certain areas there's more industry that are more prominent than others. And so I think, in general, I would say it's pretty diversified. If you look at businesses in general across the state, you'll see Latino businesses emerging throughout that. What we did see is we have a huge emergence of Latinos in energy and Latinos in technology. And so one of the reasons on Friday we had a Shark Tank is for that reason. That's one of the reasons we did that.
About the Shark Tank, I wish I was there. It was real.
It was real.
You had a couple of investors there.
We had 2 investors, and 5 different businesses did a pitch to those investors.
And one of them was actually snapped up.
Yes.
Tell us about the one. What made them work?
Well, I think there was a couple things that made them work. They're an organization that's technology driven, which a lot of new businesses are going to be more technology driven. Their focus is on renewing clothing. They're a clothing recycler, but they do it in a way where they're touching the different areas of recycling of clothing. First of all, they're getting last year's clothing that they're actually migrating into the forest. They're also getting...
And last year's is fine for me, so
it's fine for me too. I'm a traditionalist.
Right, exactly.
They're also working with secondhand stores and shops that are then taking those and potentially selling them overseas. And then they're working with the trucking companies as well. And what was unique about their model than the others is they were the only one out of the 5 that was actually making revenue.
I see. You mentioned Shark Tank, and when we think about that franchise, it's about financing. It's about building and growing and going to the next level. For so many businesses, that is the missing link. They just don't have either the connections, the resources, the knowledge, the know-how to create and get that financing. And we know often in communities of color, we see that as a real missing link. I presume that your chamber is creating links to help your memberships. Tell us more about how you're helping on that front.
Well, a couple things. We have a great partner in Wells Fargo Bank, and one of the things that they did is they did a workshop, and they didn't do the traditional access to capital. What they did is a workshop on business success and how do they actually create success. When businesses look at funding, there's different ways they can get funded. There's micro funding, so there's the micro lending that tends to be from 0 to 50. You also have your CDFIs that will potentially fund. You have your traditional banking. You have credit unions that are now getting in that space as well. But the newest way that a lot are getting, besides the capital venturalists, are crowdfunding. Businesses are actually going online.
That, to me, that is the craziest and yet most inspiring method of raising funds. I mean, I know I live in Los Angeles. In the Hollywood world, in the feature film world, people are raising 6 and 7 figures with crowdfunding.
They are.
It is, and you think it's a sustainable
I think it is.
model?
I think it is sustainable. I think it will, because you're reaching out to a group of people initially that you have some kind of connection, and you're sparking their interest to give towards this particular cause.
Sure.
And then as they see your business growing and emerging, they continue to want to invest in the organization.
Give us another sense of some of the accomplishments of your chambers of commerce and your membership generally.
Well, when I came onto the organization, one of the reasons I came on was to help restructure the organization.
Right.
And
you had been in industry yourself for many years.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I looked at is one of our biggest pillars that we represent as a statewide organization is our advocacy work.
Right.
And making sure that we really had a formalized process on how we actually considered opportunities to advocate. So for instance, if you're an organization, you want us to take an interest in a bill or a position on something, how do you actually bring that forward to us?
And let me ask you, because is the fact that you target Hispanic and Latino business owners, does that make your advocacy different than a general chamber of commerce? I could see it both ways.
I would say no.
Right.
And the reason I say no is because we do business in California as a whole.
Right.
And the issues that are important to our organization and our small businesses are no different than the issues that are important to the Asian community. Now, I would say this, they may be perhaps different than issues to some mainstream businesses.
Okay.
Ethnic communities share similar type of interests.
Right.
And part of that interest is diversity, it's access.
Well stated.
So making sure that they have accessibility to contracting opportunities, making sure that they have accessibility to capital. But then you can also say the same is true for other small businesses as well.
I want to get a sense on one issue though, and that is the issue of immigration. Because while obviously immigration and the ability to work impacts all businesses, a lot of workers who are looking to work that are undocumented happen to be of Latino descent, at least in the state of California. And so we know the issue has been pushed into the forefront as a result of the 2016 presidential race. How is your chambers of commerce managing this issue? So
two things I would say. Immigration is not new to the United States. If you really think about it, the Italians immigrated. Okay, come on.
We're all immigrants.
I mean, every generation has immigrated in one sense or another.
Latinos are not immigrants.
Exactly.
Exactly. We're the immigrants.
I would agree with that too. That is a potential argument. So immigration is not new to our country. It just happens to be a hot topic today. And what we really focus on is not the point that Latinos are immigrating to the country. What we focus on is the reason why. And people are coming here for jobs. And why are they coming here for jobs? Because corporations, companies need workers. And if we were producing the workers here that wanted those jobs, then they would not need to bring people into the country.
And it's interesting, as a huge generalization, chambers of commerce have tended to align with the Republican Party, but yet on this issue of immigration, you do see chambers of commerce starting to speak more with the Democrats because, like you said, this is about business.
It is.
And the need for skilled and unskilled, whatever that term means, labor. And so do you feel as if, you're the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, there's a sense that we're almost developing our own immigration laws, even though we're not, we're a state. So are you feeling like we're on the right track and path?
I really feel what government needs to do is government needs to open up more work visas. Because if the need is there, if the companies need them, don't penalize the company, don't penalize the individuals. Open up the visas. Secondly, create a welfare system that doesn't incentivize people to continue to stay on welfare. Get people off of welfare into working. If they were to take those jobs, then you wouldn't have as needed for many people coming into the country and immigrating. When
we meet in 5 years, which I'm sure we will, where do you hope the Chambers of Commerce is, and your membership, and the workers who happen to be of Hispanic descent?
Well, there's a couple things. One of the things that we really focus on as the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce is we really focus on training for our local chambers of commerce. That's one of our areas through our Business Leadership Institute. And so my hope is that in 5 years from now that we have very strong chambers throughout the state of California that are sustainable organizations, because what you tend to see in a lot of nonprofits is the dipping and diving.
With you at the helm, I have a feeling we will see that. Her name is Alice Perez. She is the CEO of the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. My name is Brad Pomerance. In Sacramento today, you are watching Local Edition.